How big of a lift to the defense was it from a morale standpoint that Grant Ewell was back out there and able to give it a go?
You know, Jesse, for a guy to play over 20 snaps like he did and really played pretty well too, you have a guy that's a senior that's been invested in your program, and just the heart and the toughness and the willpower, yeah, that's contagious.
Does that inspire you as a coach to have a guy that?
Oh, absolutely. You know, I mean, that's in the long haul, that's what wins. Guys that are, you know, that are rugged, that are durable, that are committed, that are tough, that are resilient. And he's every bit of that.
On the flip side, a young guy that's getting a lot of snaps, Lincoln Tuioti Mariner. What has impressed you the most about the way that he's played and been ahead of a lot of plays? He's been pretty darn good for as a young guy.
Yeah, just how active he is. You know, you look at it, he's really only played in 3 games, and yet to seem very involved in a variety of ways, whether they're perimeter runs, being able to come off an edge and generate some pressure on a throw. Now, there are a lot of things just when it comes into the consistency down in, down out that I think you'll see develop and improve, you know, just as he gets more snaps.
Back to him, because he's traveled last year as a freshman, right?
He did. For some games he did, okay. Yeah.
So when you talk about what might develop, like you obviously have seen a skill set there for a while. Can you kind of elaborate on kind of what he has, what he could become?
Well, it is a process, you know, just I know I repeat that, but it truly is, you know, in terms of the steps that you have to take. Like I said earlier, he tends to be around the ball a good bit. Some of the activity that he has in terms of being a little bit hard to block, whether it's quickness or some strength. Are there times, though, where we just got to be more solid on certain plays where you really do have to fit in a particular space because there's somebody behind you that fits in the other? Sure. You just can't put a price on, you know, just a value on how helpful it'll be to have. I don't know what that number is. You know, is it 7 or 8 games under your belt, where now you see not only in terms of the consistency assignment-wise, but the production too.
Well, I guess on those lines then, as you kind of evaluate the big picture, you know, because obviously you're in charge of the program, not just the 2024 team, how many guys do you start to identify who you might want to get snaps because it would help them next year? You know,
yeah, we won't do it because of that. We're not going to do. What we're going to do is we'll do it because it gives us the best chance this Saturday in terms of game snaps. Now, in practice, we will. You know, it's just everything that we do for this particular week's fully guided towards Saturday evening.
How you doing, Coach?
Good. You doing all right?
Good, thank you.
You warm?
Yes, sir. I was told it was going to be cold. So anyway, obviously you wouldn't have your players here if you didn't like them first and foremost as people. And I know football is a game where you learn a lot of lessons and it's not fair. But how tough is it, even as a coach, maybe not getting the results because of the guys you are coaching? Am I making any sense or no?
I'll say this. I love what we get a chance to be a part of every single day. And, I mean, I'd rather be alongside guys. You hit the nail right on the head. I love being around these guys. The way they practice, the way they meet, the way they pull together. Yeah, these guys will get you fired up. And it is you love being alongside guys that fire you up too. You know, everybody says, "Well, coach, you got to get them going." I like it where players get other people fired up too, and we have good guys that way.
Kind of off of that, then, do you? And I don't know because obviously I'm not in the locker room, but do you sometimes have to play psychiatrist with the guys to let them know that A, I am proud of you, even though we're not getting the results we would like, and B, you know, keep your head up, so to speak.
No, the only thing these guys want, and everybody wants, in any working environment, is are you committed, and are you made of the good stuff where you're contagious in a positive way. And we're pretty fortunate right now.
You faced a number of veteran quarterbacks. Mikey Keene, I think, has 36 starts to his credit. In what ways has he shown that he's a veteran, has played a lot of snaps?
There are just so many intuitive plays that he generates that comes from, that background, that experience. Whether it's being able to check a protection or no, I don't need to. If this guy ends up blitzing, I know right now where I can go with the ball. If I got 2 on blocks coming off this edge, I know I can create a little more time by sliding to my right. He's really good at that, and I think anytime you have a quarterback, which they do, who has that number of starts, and they have 2 really good inside linebackers. One of them was a USC transfer. They're both 6th-year guys. When you have that, I was like, a little bit, your inside backer somewhat are like a quarterback, and you have it on the other side of the ball. I mean, this is a really capable football team.
What on defense impresses you the most about what they're doing?
Down in, down out. Really, when you watch the film and they're playing Michigan, and if they switched jerseys, you would know, all right, ability-wise, which is the squad that they're very good on defense. You look to give up only 5 yards a play. I think on 3rd down they're like 35%. They're really, really good, and you go through that side of the ball, and one of the edge guys might have been the number 1 player in the country. Coming out of Corona Centennial, went to USC, is transferred. Like I said, both those linebackers, I mean, how long they've been there, literally how long they've played college football, and you can go through a good number of positions where they have a ton of seniors across the board, and they aren't 4th-year seniors either.
When you obviously you did off-season prep for them before the coaching change, and now you've gotten back into them, how much changed, or how much were you able to actually utilize that initial prep?
A good bit, and that's a good question. They're all good questions, no bad. Just in the sense that, you go through and you think, all right, here's what we see defensively, here's what we see offensively, general strategic tone, what is it? And have there been a few nuances? Yeah, I think there have been, but not significant. Just because you look behind, the staff's still there. Offensively, they didn't change their system. You can tell. I mean, that's probably a good bit of carryover for what they've done the last couple of years.
And I just want to go back to that previous topic about getting snaps to other people. I guess, where does that mindset come from? Like in a season when you're 1-7, when or do you ever make that change to where the next game trumps maybe a bigger picture need to prepare for what's coming down the road?
Well, I think that's what you do in practice every single day, what you're doing in the weight room, what you're doing in practice. When you get ready to play a game, we're going to give our guys every single optimal opportunity there is for the team to play the very best they can. And we owe that to our guys, and we owe that to each other too.
But do you not owe it? And I'm not being combative. I'm just kind of, the contrast to that would be, do you owe it to the 2025 team to put them in a position to succeed, whereas the ship may at some point have sailed on-field results for this season?
We are going to do everything we can this afternoon, and it's going to be a little brisk, but we're going to what will be combative is we go out there this afternoon and we practice, and you're going to feel like it's bone on bone. We have pads on, but there are going to be some parts that are flesh mashing with flesh, hopefully with good pad level. And we're going to do everything we can to play best football we possibly can this Saturday.
So you can prepare for next year and Saturday simultaneously, I guess is what, in your opinion.
We're going to take practice for sure. Practice it's broadened enough. There are enough opportunities in practice. They're specific enough where we're going to invest in every guy we have, just like we do in the weight room. And we'll do it on the practice field too. But everything that we do, the priority is this Saturday.
And a quarterback position, kind of what's the, obviously, we see what's on the depth chart. Now we have one name bolded. Kind of what do you see going on there? What's up?
I think all three guys will play for us throughout the rest of this season. Can I tell you how much exactly? I can't. I just don't quite. I don't know if anybody could. From the standpoint that you can say, well, there are desires, there are wishes, but that's not reality. I just think all three guys can help us.
And the change made late in the game, was that injury related, or was that just a change for change's sake, or skill set change sake, or whatever?
Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't answer your question one bit. I mean, we just at that moment you go in. It was in the middle of a drive too. Yeah, I mean there was a snap in there where, no, it was good. Both of them got to play, and I think both of them. I think all three guys, because really you're talking about John, Josh, and Q. All three to get involved and get game snaps. Is it intentional for another year? No. It's whoever we think's the most ready for the very next snap to go in there, and that's who it's going to be.
Coming back from the injury, do you feel like you're 100% right now, and just how's everything been going since the injury?
Mentally, I feel 100%, but with a knee injury, you never fully recover from it. I do feel I've gotten back to where I want to be, but it's never going to fully be 100%. And also playing with the brace, you can feel it'll hinder you a little bit, but I'm excited to be back on the field.
How do you keep the morale high after a 1-7 start?
We all know that it's always right there. It's never we're getting blown out week in, week out. We got the people we want on the field. It comes down to we got to execute our jobs better, not just everyone. We can't point fingers. It's all 11 guys on the field, and we know week in, week out we're getting better and better. So it's just that steady improvement and that acknowledgement of when we execute our job, we can win games.
And then just like, where do you think the improvement needs to be to get over that hump?
I think definitely it has to be just a little bit individually just saying, hey, I want to execute my job at the highest level. Then it's just kind of we have to get used to all our new faces within the offense. It just kind of that unit cohesion, because last year, you had an offensive line that played together for 3 years. So I think just playing over and over and over again is going to help us reach our goals and eventually notch one down in the win column again.
Kind of off of that a little bit, Dylan, do you think that you guys are close offensively to starting to put some points in the scoreboard and that sort of thing?
Oh, 100%. You look at even last week, we had we started out with 3 3-and-outs, which isn't acceptable to our standards. But you look at each of those plays, it's just one guy's off. I had a run where I got a shoelace tackle, and if that didn't happen, I could have gone for 20 or 30 yards. A couple passes we could have hit deep. We just know that there's such a small margin of error with college football, and if you eliminate those errors, you can go so much farther. And I think just working on those small mistakes is going to help us get over this big hump.
All right. Fun question, if I may. With it being election day, this is not political. If you're running as president of sports, could be football, could be any sport, and you can change something and have a platform, what would that be?
Change sports. Ooh, that's a good one. I think just with college football, I think I would change like the NIL, just make it a little bit stricter than all the conferences. Go back, old Big 12, old Pac-12, just kind of bring it all together. Then probably change the playoff format to how the FCS would be. Those would be my big changes.
What would the Mountain West look like?
Oh, it'd be the exact same. I like it exactly how it is.
Well, I'd vote for you.
How has navigating this kind of year mentally, like obviously you take football extremely seriously. How has that not bled into the rest of your life? As a cadet, as everything else, like when you're struggling up here, how have you kept that detachment?
Well, I first of all acknowledge that we still got a really good team. I've been on some teams where it's bad and they just gave up, but we're not giving up at all. And that's just, it's the hope part that's keeping us in. Then, uh, you know, I can't define myself just by football. And as much as like it hurts me that we're 1-7 right now, it can affect other parts of my life, and other parts are gonna have to be equally as important or less important from time to time. So just being able to separate your life and the different styles you take is kind of like a big step into adulthood. So little inconveniences don't ruin the rest of it.
And regardless of what happens over the next 4 games, as you kind of look around the team, practice field, do you see hope for next year based on the talent you see in your class and the classes below?
Oh, 100%. First of all, we're not giving up on this year. We're trying to win the last 4 games. Then we know next year that we're building a lot right now, and all the young guys are getting a lot of playing time. I know that we're definitely gonna be excited for what's moving forward, but what's on our mind right now is first of all Fresno State, then the rest 3 games we have after that.
And Fresno State's got 2 good linebackers. As a fullback, how much have you studied them at this point, and how much do you expect to kind of interact with them on the field?
When it comes to offense, we don't watch any film of the defense until Friday, at least from the player's perspective. We just focus on our own craft, and I like to do a little bit of studying, see their technique, how they play, what they react to. But these guys, they haven't seen option football, they haven't seen Air Force football, and they're going to come in. It's going to be a cold night. It's going to be kickoff at 7:45. Thin air. So as much as they have talent, I don't think they've seen our brand of football, and I think we can exploit that.
You always seem very upbeat, and that's just kind of your vibe you give off. How have you maintained that through everything you guys have gone through?
Just know we're all blessed, I mean, not everybody gets a chance to play college collegiate football, in front of 20+ thousand fans a week. So, just having that mentality and just knowing that nevertheless we're blessed to be in this position that we are, no matter how the season's going. So.
And then I guess the flip side of that, how difficult is it to be a senior, especially at this point in the year when, obviously from a program standpoint, I would think younger players are going to get more and more reps. Like, how do you kind of maintain your sanity?
Yeah. I mean, being here, the seniors here, we've won a lot of games, We've experienced the ups and the downs of a season numerous amount of times. Just knowing our role as, the younger classes are coming up, to be a mentor. Be the leader that, you came to the school to be. And so this is a perfect opportunity when, everything's not going well, when the stuff hits the fan, what type of leader can you be? What type of guy can you be? Can you rally the troops or are you just down in the dumps? So a great leadership opportunity.
And then this week, facing a team that throws the ball a ton, as a corner, is that, especially coming off Army, kind of the stretch you guys have been playing, is that kind of a nice change of pace?
Oh yeah, the corners and the DBs in this locker room, we love the challenge when the onus is put on our shoulders to make the play, or we have a team that we know that's pass heavy. It's up to us to lead the defense. So it's going to be an exciting week.
So Trey, what are some of the things you might say to the younger guys to keep their spirits up?
It's a lot of young guys coming in. We have a lot of new starters. We have a lot of new players that are coming in and playing. And so just don't really worry about messing up. Don't really worry about don't think too much. Just play the game. The game will come to you at a certain point. Things will start moving slower. Things will start coming fast to you, and you'll make the play once it comes to you with the reps and the time given under pressure.
I got a fun question for you. It's not a political question. But with it being election day, if you were running as president of sports or football, what would you change and what would be your platform?
In sports, that's a good question. Any sport?
It could be football. It could be any sport. Something you don't like. Hey, Trey Williams is going to make sure this change happens.
I'd make sure that every athlete has 2 days off a week, so minimum.
Trey, when you're facing a Fresno State team that likes to pass a lot, and you just face an Army team. How do you guys, as a secondary, do you kind of get like more excited that, hey, there's going to be some more balls in the area, maybe get some interceptions?
I just feel like for a week like this, you just have to key in a little bit more. For the last 2 weeks, we've been mostly focused on Army triple option. Playing checks from that double slot close formation, mostly preparing for a quarterback dive. And so now we just have to focus more keenly on like our pass techniques, our man press techniques, and just doing what we have to do to win this week.
Do you have your job for next year?
Oh, I do.
What are you going to be?
I'm joining the Space Force once I graduate.
Space Force?
Yes, sir.
Are you excited for that? Is that a dream for you?
Yeah, very excited. I kind of directed my major and, my plan at the academy to go in this direction. So I'm very blessed to be in this position.
What are you going to be doing for the Space Force?
I don't know yet. We have training after we graduate, and so after training we'll figure out what specific jobs we're doing.
What is your major? What did you change it from to gear toward Space Force?
I always thought, I started it with geospatial science, Many people say it's about rocks, but it's mostly about like satelliting, like imagery, picturing, mappings, things of that nature. And so I felt like, going into that major, I kind of directed it into the Space Force, which mostly has to do with satelliting and, space operations in that sense.
Cool. What's your base?
I have no clue yet.
Oh, you haven't been given those yet? Okay, got it. Okay, and then a teammate, Lincoln Tuioti Mariner, like his skill set seems very different than, in the 12 years I've been around this team. I haven't really seen a guy who is kind of a hybrid of so many spots. Like, what do you see from him, and kind of what do you see as his potential?
Lincoln's a player, man. Lincoln's really special, I mean, I've known Lincoln vaguely for a while since we were in the same recruiting class. Lincoln's a player. Lincoln loves ball. I mean, and the instincts to pick up ball this quickly and to make plays this quickly, and you feel his presence every time you step on the field. And as a corner, as having a nickel or a spur or a safety that I know I have 100% trust in. Is always gonna have my back. Is gonna play to the end. Is very heartwarming to see.